How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL deadline stream. And the title of the stream today is 5 games. 5 other games have been called off out of the 10, and we're only going to have 5 games this week. My team's a bit more fortunate than others. I've seen some teams where they ain't got a forward line, some teams ain't got a back line, some teams ain't got a midfield, some team doesn't have any goalkeepers. So yeah, we're going to go through those different things. We're going to see what players we could potentially get in. Remember that these games are definitely going to be played at some point. When that time will be, we don't know, but just know that at some point they will get played, basically, and there'll be double game weeks, triple game weeks, potentially blank game weeks. So if you can not use your free hit, I would suggest doing so. It seems like if you brought in a bunch of players and they didn't play, that would also be a bit of a hindrance as well. So I would say if you can, avoid the free hit as much as possible. And yeah, basically just you see if you can get by. If you can, if not, then you might have to take a few hits. I've been opposed to taking hits this season. I've tried to do my absolute best. I might be in a fortunate position where I don't have to even take a hit this week. Yeah, try to navigate as best as possible. Remember, chips are super valuable, and there's going to be double, triple game weeks potentially later on, and the free hit chip could be even better then. You might just have to take the red arrow on the chin this week and then go from there. We'll take a look at captaincy options. We'll take a look at the goals imminent table, as well as the weak defenses in the league as well. So we'll keep an eye on all that sort of stuff. I was going to do a preview stream, but then when all the games got cancelled, usually we do the predictions and that sort of stuff on the stream as well. And since there's only 5 games, I was like, well, this is going to get boring, or it's not going to be as exciting to predict a whole slew of games, basically, right? Yeah, we'll go through all the normal stuff. We'll take your questions in the chat as per usual. Before we do that, let's talk about Fantasy Football Scout. So, Fantasy Football Scout is a fantastic members area. It has all the different stats that's going to help elevate your FPL game. Although, if it's a random cancellation, there's nothing really you could do about that. But you can at least inform yourself as best as possible. And you can basically make it so that you have the most amount of information you could possibly have. So yeah, make sure to check out Fantasy Football Scout. Links in the About section or in the description if you're watching this VOD over on YouTube after the fact. We do these live streams on Twitch, so make sure to join us for those. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. So my team should be up on the screen there. Yep, there it is for everyone to see. So you can see that I have a bunch of players that could play. Fortunately enough for me, I have a fully strength back line in theory. I have a few midfielders that should be playing. That should be quite good. Smith Rowe, Jota, Salah, Rafinha even off the bench. Although I do have Rafinha on the bench at the moment just because if Lukaku somehow magically does play, even though he's probably not going to, because he was one of the few players from Chelsea's camp that tested positive, so he is likely not to be playing. I put him in there just because I'd rather him versus Wolves than Rafinha versus Arsenal. If he's not going to play, he's not going to play, so there's no point in benching him if there is any slight chance. It hasn't been ruled out completely, so I'll put him in there anyway. So this will be my full strength team if and everyone was fit and available. So we got Ramsdale in goal. We have Trent Alexander-Arnold, Diaz, James, Cancelo, as well as Ruben Diaz, who got us 5 points last week. He needs to stop getting booked, though, which is annoying. Reece James is another one that's actually on 4 yellow cards as well, so if he does get booked in this game week, he will be suspended. I believe it's up until including all the games until just before New Year's, that if a player accumulates 5 yellow cards, they're suspended for a game. So João Cancelo served his last week, and we're glad to see him back, which is why he's on the thumbnail, because he's very important to us. Salah captain, Jota, Smith Rowe, Lukaku, and Watkins, who got us 12 points, a fantastic transfer last week. Lukaku not so much. And then we have Rafinha and Brownhill on our bench if we so need them, which we probably will need at least one of them, because if Lukaku doesn't play, we put Rafinha first, so it just makes the most sense to do that. So yeah, I might not even be able to need to make a transfer, which would be very, very handy. Very, very handy indeed. I know a lot of you all will have issues potentially with your teams, whether you have double Watford, you have triple West Ham maybe. That is a bit of a blow, and that is unfortunate. And there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, or you make lemon muffins, or you just eat the lemon. Whatever you choose to do with it. Let's take some. I'm just gonna put on the AC. Let's go through some questions in the chat. So Manos was going to do a -4. We was talking about it before stream. He's going to get rid of Lukaku for Watkins and Gallagher to Foden for -4. I think that's great. I think that's a good play. Will Lukaku play? I don't think so. He's flagged. I think he still has to isolate for one more game at least. Yeah. Leave 10 players, and will I go for -8 or -12? No, I think 10 players. If you can get 10 players out this week, I think you're looking pretty good. If you can get 11 players out this week, you're looking great. If you have all 15 players in your team that are playing for a team that hasn't had a game cancelled, you're looking fantastic. So, hey Iwas, how's it going? Best of luck to you as well, Mono. Hey Mo, how's it going? How's it going, Zodiac? My panic last week was 7 players. This week I only got 6. Yeah, the cancellations are. The thing is though. We could have cancellations tomorrow as well. Like Chelsea's game could get cancelled tomorrow, and there's nothing we could do about it. Spurs and Liverpool's game could get cancelled tomorrow, and there's nothing we could do about it. Force the free hit this game week. I mean, yeah, in that situation you might have to, but I would still try to see. I would just take the red arrow on the chin, to be honest. Do a hit, and then see where it gets you, and then maybe go with the. And then, go from there. Brownhill to Saka for -4. That sounds fine to me. Because Brownhill doesn't seem to have his place nailed down anymore. Rumors about Henderson and Salah. Yeah. I mean, Salah's been positive before. He was positive last year. I'm not sure if he's been vaxxed or not, but yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Speaking of which, I'm meant to do this. Since there's going to be cancellations and whatnot, seems to be for the foreseeable future. Make sure your vice captain is on somebody who plays in the first game. It doesn't matter if they're not necessarily or as close to the first game as possible. So the likelihood is we will know up until basically the deadline that the Aston Villa and Burnley game should probably, you would think, go ahead. So for that reason, I'm going to make Watkins my vice captain in the event that Salah doesn't play. I think that Salah's still the best captaincy option this week, but if he doesn't play, I at least have Watkins. And a lot of managers are going to do this because they know that Watkins will be playing. So it's probably best to vice captain somebody who's playing in the earliest possible fixture, if they have at least a good fixture. If you have somebody from Arsenal or Leeds, maybe you might go for them as well. But I'm going to vice captain Watkins. I was going to vice captain Cancelo, but he plays tomorrow, so that game could be cancelled. And then if Salah is out or whatever, then Salah won't play, and then Cancelo won't play, and then I'm not looking too great. So I'll vice captain Watkins. Did well last week, could do well this week as well. Plays the first game. We'll probably know beforehand whether or not he is. If that game's going to go ahead, which it should do in theory. And yeah, make sure to have your vice captain on somebody reasonable. If you do have Watkins, if you're bringing in Ings or something like that, and we know he's going to start or something like that, that could be one to go for. Who knows? Vice captain Ramsdale could be a good idea this week. Who knows? As well. We all got Salah, so it doesn't really matter. We all got Jota as well as Trent, so it doesn't make much of a difference. Exactly. So losing Salah, Trent, and Jota does not really make that much of a difference. Would you take out Mboma and Hwang for Ramsey and Lacazette for -4, or just Livramento for cash/target with no hits and play 10 players? I like the second one. I think cash and target could be a quite good differential as well. On the FF Scout community team, basically they've taken over a team for a manager this season, who basically is taking the season off, and he is he's always done well previously, and he basically that's what they did in the community team. They took out, I think it was Livermento, if I remember correctly, and they brought in Target, whose numbers are slightly better, and he's slightly cheaper. Also, Matty Cash is on 4 yellows as well, apparently. So I would say make sure to, when you're thinking about that, be cognizant that, you know, he could be getting booked, and then he'll be suspended the next game. It's game week 18, so I think we have, it's this week, next week, and then this game week, next game week, and the week after for them to dodge a yellow card, and then they're fine. So just remember to be mindful of that. Do the Livermento thing because you don't want Lacazette in the long run anyway. Yeah, exactly. Never play Ramsey either. Oh, there's just a 4.5 mid that you could challenge to have. Especially if Aubameyang returns. I don't think he's returning anytime soon, to be fair. I don't think so. I think he's in the absolute bottom of the barrel when it comes to picking players in the starting lineup at the moment. In these weeks, we have to think about not picking players with the 4th yellow. Exactly. Yep. So Matty Cash is one of those players. So we have to be mindful of that. I'm just gonna keep Twitter open on the side here just in case. Breaking news. This is being posted literally as of 1 minute ago. Aston Villa versus Burnley has been postponed. So, if you have any Villa players or Burnley players, they're not going to play this week. Villa versus Burnley is off. This is official on both Burnley's and Aston Villa's social medias. Burnley, apparently it's Aston Villa has recorded more cases, therefore the game could be, the game was postponed. So hopefully you haven't made any of your transfers as of yet. That's why you wait until the last possible second. But the Aston Villa versus Burnley game has been postponed. I repeat, the Aston Villa Burnley game has been postponed. I will post a link in the chat of the Aston Villa Twitter post. This is Aston Villa official. That's Aston Villa's official Twitter saying that the game has been postponed. So much for having Watkins as vice captain. So we will move him to João Cancelo. So that means Brownhill's not going to play either. Brownhill will not play either this week. So now we're down to 4 games. The title of the stream was 5 games, not 4. So yeah, it is postponed. That is Aston Villa's Twitter. I can also link to Burnley's as well, just so you have the double double setup there for those two. So yeah, that game has been postponed. So it looks like João Cancelo will be my vice captain. Yeah, I think, so there's a guy I follow, FPL Physio, he says, not worth faffing with hits when games can be called off with 2 hours notice. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm just going to move 8 players, Salah captain, and follow the game week under madness. So, yeah, the game is off. No Burnley, no Aston Villa. So, if you took a hit to bring in Watkins or before the deadline, I apologize. And it's a bit unfortunate. Doesn't that mean the deadline is going to move? Almost certainly, yeah. I'm still going to stream for as if it was going to the normal deadline. But the deadline will move till... gotta work this out in my head. 11 a.m. EST will be the deadline. The new deadline, anyway. So that would be in 2 hours 15 from now. So yeah, that's usually what happens when a game gets canceled. But yes, so this is I hope Mono is listening. He is still bringing in Foden, so that's still fine, I guess. But taking a hit is a bit of a interesting. My free hit changed now. Yeah, free. That's the one thing about a free hit is you can be flexible all the way up in the deadline. The only thing you can't control is anything after the deadline. So it's not. We've gone down from 5 games to 4 games. So let me actually, can I change the title of the stream? How do I change the title of the stream? Here we go. 5 games to 4 games. Update. There we go. We changed it. But yeah, it's just madness at the moment. It really is, to be honest. I think if you have 11 players this week, you gotta be lucky. Mind you, let's see. Can I think of a team that would have 11 players? So you have Ramsdale in goal. At least with the 4 games, you have Rafinha is one of your midfielders. You have like what? Foden, Bernardo Silva or something. You have Smith Rowe as your other midfielder and Salah. So you got 5 in midfield. You have Trent. 2 Chelsea defenders. It's the forwards. The forwards is really the hard part. That's the real difficult part. A lot of the forwards are out. That's kind of the real crux of it, really. That's causing a whole bunch of problems. Well, I think I did put did I put any Aston Villa players on the captaincy list? I'm not even too sure. I don't think I did. But yeah, if you're just joining us, Aston Villa versus Burnley has been called off, and this is apparently due to the increase in number of positive cases among the Aston Villa ranks. Now, this is important to note which teams are what. I also retweeted an article that is over on the Fantasy Football Scout members area, which is basically like a virus tracker, as it were, which shows you like which teams went into basically their own form of lockdown respectively at which time, which makes it a little bit easier to timeline. So since United was one of the ones that were first, them and Spurs and Norwich, those teams might come back quicker, which means that we have to look at them first, basically. So whoever went out first, first in, first out, FIFO, which was a thing I learned in programming, actually. First in, first out. So yeah, those would be the players that we'd be looking at when they come back, basically. When they do come back, we'll be looking eagerly to get them in our teams, because they will be the first ones back and having fixtures, basically, unless the whole league gets basically shut down, basically. Like Leeds versus Arsenal looks to be fine. Newcastle, I don't think have any positives. City had like maybe one, but I think they're fine for the most part. Chelsea could be a bit of an issue, and Spurs is a bit of an issue. So we might literally only have a game week where it's literally Newcastle and City and Leeds and Arsenal, which is very possible. So I might have to go for a hit or something. Get rid of Lukaku and bring in a City midfielder because I don't have one at the moment. Um, maybe I bring in Gabriel Jesus. It's just a one-off transfer. That might be something interesting as well. I'll think on it. Zodiac's free hit team. So he's got Ramsdale, Cancelo, Trent, James, and Alonso. Mount, Grealish, Foden, Salah, Jota, Lacazette, with a bench of Gunnarsson, Tomiyasu, Scarlett, and Gelhardt. Yeah, I mean, it seems reasonable to me. Seems reasonable to me. That midfield is very, very good. Very, very good indeed. Or maybe I go for De Bruyne. De Bruyne could be one. Maybe we go Lukaku to... Lukaku to a cheaper forward, and then we upgrade Brownhill to De Bruyne or something like that. Maybe we go for something like that. Let's see what that would look like. So I don't know how much De Bruyne actually is. This needs to move back to where it was. So if I go Lukaku out and got Brownhill, and we went De Bruyne. De Bruyne is 11.8. Ooh. So we'd have to go down to basically a bad forward, which I don't want to do. I don't want to do that. So we'll just keep Brownhill, I guess. If we were gonna upgrade Brownhill, I guess it would be something like Lukaku down to... Don't even know who plays, to be honest. There's just no forwards. There's just no forwards. Oh man, there's just no forwards. Yeah, this is literally no forwards. Yeah, maybe I just go. I mean, just go Jesus. Did he play last game? Let's see. Oh, he did play 90 minutes last game. Oh, okay. He played 90 minutes versus Wolves. Maybe we bring him in as a differential, as a one-off. If you think Lukaku's not going to play. Mind you, Jesus is very risky. Very, very risky. Extremely risky. There's no attackers out there. Yeah, there's literally none. Chelsea play the false nine. City play the false nine. Liverpool play the false nine. Yeah, they're all just midfielders. They're all just midfielders, actually. Like, there's literally no forwards I could bring in. Like, because the Wolves-Chelsea game, there might be a forward for Wolves, but why? Spurs versus Liverpool, I mean, Kane, but that game might not go through. City versus Newcastle. Do I bring in Callum Wilson? Callum Wilson should be fine, right? Should be fine, hopefully. Maybe. Who knows? You know, we don't know. We don't know. We really don't know. This is like the most patience I've ever had to do. Because trying not to take hits as well. Maybe I just do go for Jesus. And he just plays this game. And we get lucky or something. Maybe. Because there's no definitive... Like, Lukaku's flag, so he's most like... I think Tuchel said in his press conference he's not going to play, basically. Yeah. Maybe we just get a little bit lucky. How much in the bank with no transfers? Oh, let me yeah, I'll revert that back and put it up on the screen. Reset. 0.4 million. So I can't get anyone reasonable, basically, which is unfortunate. Like, I can't go Brownhill up to anyone. Like, I can't do anything in like one apart from like get rid of somebody. All the forwards are basically out at the moment, which isn't ideal. Brownhill I can't upgrade to anyone. Uh, Rafinha's a playing player, so we don't want to get rid of him. Yeah, I really don't know. Maybe I go Lukaku down to Wilson, and then go to Brownhill up to a Man City mid. Can't really upgrade Brownhill. Do you really want to take the chance of Jesus or maybe -4 for 1 point return if he's benched? Well, the thing is, if I do Lukaku to Jesus, it's just a free transfer. It's just free. Wilson's on 4 yellow cards too. Yeah, that's a good call. Good call. Yeah, Lukaku to Jesus would be for free. The other alternative, because there's literally no forwards, but is we can go, if we wanted to go Lacazette, we could. Does that leave us enough money to get a City mid? How much is Foden? Foden's 8-1. Ronaldo's 7-6. Gundogan's 7-3. So we couldn't get Foden if we went Lacazette, basically. Yeah, he could get booked too, yeah, which is just would be the most frustrating thing in the world. I think honestly, if there's a player that I'm going to, just because it makes sense, like Jesus didn't play in the last game, versus Leeds, and he played full 90 versus Wolves, so maybe Jesus plays in this one. I mean, Lukaku's not going to play anyway, so why not, right? Go for it. Go for the upside. Go for something different. Because I have no easy way to get to another City midfielder. I already have 2 City players in the fact that I have Diaz and Cancelo, right? So that's another thing to consider. So I can't go double City mids without getting rid of Diaz, which would require some major surgery. Probably roll the transfer. No one got 11 players anyway, so you stand strong next week. Yeah, that's another thing too. I could just literally do that. I could literally just do that. That's something I've also considered as well. That's something I've also considered. Because then if I bring in Jesus and Lukaku's back next week, or I want to get Ronaldo or something like that, because Ronaldo's team, United would be back, or something like that, then, it's much better to have, I guess, 2 free transfers. If you can afford to roll, I guess roll. That makes the most sense. That makes the most sense. I think that's probably what I'm going to go for. And just, I have 10 players as it stands now. Let me just reset that. Move that back to right there. Or there, rather. Yeah, I think rolling probably is the smartest thing to do, to be honest. Because no one cares if the EFL Cup gets cancelled. They got 1 week to recover. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they can always push those games back, to be honest. It's not difficult to do. As an example, if United and Brentford are all fine, which it doesn't look like United are at least, and neither is Brentford, then they could play midweek next week coming to to play their game, because United was supposed to play Brentford what was it, last game week or game before, whatever it was, and they're both not in the Carabao Cup, so if both their teams are fine, then they're okay. So yeah, there's something to kind of keep an eye on, really. We have to monitor these things and see which teams are getting taken out first, and which means which teams are coming back. So if United, Spurs, and Norwich are the first teams to go out, they'll probably be the first teams back. United had good fixtures. Spurs had good fixtures. Norwich, no one really wants to go there, but at least you have a bench option like a Billy Gilmore or something like that to get you some points. Because at this point, it's just a matter about getting just as many points as... I mean, it's every week it's getting the points. Just locked in my team and now heard the game is canceled. Yeah, I mentioned you on stream, Mono. I said, I hope you haven't made your moves yet. But the thing is, though, you got rid of 2 non-playing players and you still brought in 1. You still brought in Foden. So think of it in isolation. You brought in Foden for -4. Deadline has been changed too, yeah. It has been. So if I just refresh, it should show it differently down the bottom here. Yeah. It's been changed. And you can also see that Watkins no longer has a fixture. Neither is Brownhill. So, yeah. Yeah. The thing is, you have Foden in. You know, you do have Foden in. So, just something to monitor. Just something to monitor. Have to consider free hit now. Well, how many players can you realistically play, Mono? How many players can, like, have a fixture currently? That's the thing. Because I think your team was decent, if I remember correctly. So you had Ramsdale, TAA, Cancelo, James. So basically everyone has those players. You had Gundogan, who's a nice little differential. Salah, Jota. Everyone has those. Your front line wasn't playing. Gallagher, Livramento, and Duffy weren't going to play either. And you brought in Gallagher for Foden, Lukaku to Watkins. So you have Foden now. So you have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 8 players. I think that's perfectly fine with the amount of games that are left, to be honest. If you take a hit and later decide to free hit, would the hits get cancelled? Yes, they would. That's how it works. That's why you see horror stories when people you see teams in like the first few game weeks, like they took a -58 or something crazy, or minus 40 or whatever it was, because they didn't use their wild card. They didn't activate the wild card. So you can make 1 billion transfers. You could take a -700. As long as you activate the wild card, they all go away. Same with the free hit. But you have 8 players, Mono, with Foden in there, so I wouldn't... And most of your players are nicely owned, barring probably Foden and Gundogan. That's the one player that could burn me this week is just a City mid in general. So... But I have no real way to get to them without taking a hit, which, again, taking hits for players, then the game could get cancelled, just could be an absolute pain. So if I come out of this week with a small red arrow, I'll take it. Like, anything better than that, I'm laughing. Cheers for bringing me Zen. Yeah, you have 8 players. When you think about the thing is, what we all have to realize is cancellations are going to happen. These games will be played later on. You're going to get red arrows because of it. I was fortunate enough not to get one that last week. It could be my turn this week because I don't have a City midfielder. Foden scores a hat-trick against Newcastle in one of the few games and I ain't got him. My week's done. It's over. It's just about how we go and fix it later on. Right? That's what we got to do. Saka or ESR if money doesn't matter. I would say Saka just because he's going to start more games than Smith Rowe, probably. But ESR seems to be doing well with popping up with goals and stuff. So it is an interesting one. -4 is not -2s realistically, in theory, but that -4 could become a -2, and then it could just become a worse than 4, because then the player you take a hit for somebody that doesn't play because the game gets cancelled. That's why I say you gotta like temper your expectations. You gotta, you know, I could bring in Foden, and the game could be cancelled. Who knows? We have no clue. We have no clue whatsoever. That's kind of the issue. So I would say just like keep your expectations low for this week, except that games that are going to be cancelled, they're going to be last minute. It's going to be annoying, and we just have to write off the game week, and we have to basically be open-minded and flexible as to what could be coming up, because we could get a situation where the league stops for a couple of weeks, but we're still able to make transfers like last time, or everyone gets a free wild card or something like that. Things like that could happen. So, do you not think it ruins the game a little? Yeah, no football makes the game week a lot worse. Blank game weeks you can tolerate because you can see when they're coming up, or double game weeks and that sort of stuff, and planning around those is really fun. But yeah, it does put a downer on it. But what you have to think is, okay, the game's not being played now, but it will be played. And it's going to make the game weeks in the future more exciting because we have double game weeks and stuff. More double game weeks means much bigger scores. And when you get a bigger score, so tell me this, when you get, let's say there's a game week, the average is around like 40. It's a very drab game week, and you get a green arrow and you got like 50 points or something like that. Is that more exciting, or is it the game week average is 85 points and you got 115 or something like that? You like seeing those the 100 mark is always a lot more fun. It's more likely to happen during a double game week, right? I think more double game weeks is fun because that means there's more likely chance for you to find that unique differential that explodes in one game and then does decently in the next or something like that, and you can look for those little advantages over your mini league rivals or opponents or whatever you want to call it. I think that's always fun. Double game weeks are always fun, and there's going to be a lot of them. So, one thing to also consider is that most likely the African Cup of Nations is probably going to get cancelled as well, with all these stoppages. So, another thing to consider. Let's take a look at some of the tables while we're here, just because we got nothing else better to do, basically, for the time being. Let me just make sure that there's no other games being cancelled. Yeah, so Sky Sports confirming the Villa and Burnley postponement. It's ironic that Leeds have more players than anyone out there. Yep, considering half their team is injured. It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Nothing there. Okay. So this is the goals imminent table. So if any of these players are playing, which looks like there's a few of them, we got Martinelli, 5.2 million, got himself a goal, and could be on the score sheet again based on these stats. This table shows the players who are getting a lot of chances, potentially missing some, and could be getting more points. So Sadio Mane's had 3 big chances, and he's missed all 3 of them. So he could be scoring as well. Grealish and Phil Foden is on there as well. So Phil Foden is someone that a lot of managers are bringing in, and he could be on the score sheet again. this week based on these stats. Captaincy wise, no surprises. Salah, Jota, Mane, top 3. Makes sense. I would say have your vice captain probably on a City player. Probably, maybe. I don't know. Might just put mine on Ramsdale, to be honest. Just because I know he's probably going to play. you never know. You never know. I'm half considering it. I'm half considering it. If I know the Arsenal game's going to go ahead by the time the deadline rolls around, I might just have my vice captaincy on Ramsdale, just in case, you know, because Leno's out, so Ramsdale's most likely going to play, and I think that game's probably the most likely to be fine. So we shall see on that one. But yeah, probably a Liverpool player, and then who knows after that. Captaincy against. So Arsenal player, Leeds look likely that they're going to concede quite a few to Arsenal potentially. Wolves, Newcastle, Everton are all in that bunch. So maybe a City player could be on the cards as well as a starting captain. So yeah, I would say make sure have your captaincy on somebody. Like the stats kind of go out the window when things get cancelled, but it seems like City and Newcastle should be fine. Leeds and Arsenal should be fine. Chelsea and Wolves, I would say, and Spurs and Liverpool, I would say, are probably potentially the ones at jeopardy, which would mean, like, just because of their nature, Chelsea getting increasing cases, Spurs being a team that has been out for some time because of cases. So I think probably Salah is your main, and if he gets cancelled, put it on somebody that you know is probably going to play, hopefully. So, yeah. Maybe I'll switch to the vice captain to Ramsdale. Who knows? Am I that bold? Probably not. But we'll see. We'll think about it. But yeah, not much else really to say, to be honest. The deadline, if you're just joining us, the deadline has been moved. That is because the Aston Villa versus Burnley game has been postponed due to increased number of cases. Seemingly in either both camps or rumors of just the Aston Villa camp. We're not too sure the full details on that. So yeah, that game has been postponed. So if you have any Burnley or Villa players, they won't be playing this week. So make sure to have your captain and vice captain on somebody that potentially you know is going to play. So in my case, I might even put it on Ramsdale. We'll have to see. Still got some time to think about it. The deadline has been moved. It has been moved to... so it's 12 p.m. my time, which is 11 a.m. EST, which is in just under 3 hours from now. So still more could develop. Again, keeping an eye on the Arsenal versus Leeds game. Could be something that we look at. What transfers are you plan on making? Potentially none, actually. Funnily enough. Yeah, maybe none. I don't know. That's kind of the issue. I really don't know. If I was going to make transfers, it would probably be at most a -4. At most. And it would be something like this. So if I wanted Phil Foden, I'd want to upgrade Brownhill because my other midfielders are presumably playing. Foden would come in. I need to get rid of 3.3 million in the bank. Are there any more 4.4 strikers? What we got? Forwards. Any 4.4 strikers? Nope. We're out of luck. So it would be Lukaku would have to go down to somebody. 8.2 million forward. So, I mean, there's not many forwards actually playing, literally. So that is a bit of a problem if I wanted Foden. No forwards are basically playing, which is a bit unfortunate. I could bring in the lad from Leeds. What's his name? Gelhardt or whatever his name is. How much is he? Yeah, 4.6. This guy. He might play. I could do that for a -4. Broha or Dennis for future game weeks. Lacazette. I can't do Lacazette and Foden. I tried it. Scarlett for 4.5. Yeah, I mean, but Scarlett's not likely going to play. If Spurs are playing, Scarlett's probably not playing. It's going to be Kane. Gelhardt might actually play, literally, because they have no Dan James, no Bamford, no Rodrigo. They ain't got anyone. They literally have no one. Like, if we look at Leeds' team, where's Leeds? Leeds. Flag, 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 flag. They're all out. So it could be Gelhardt for Gelhardt in, and then reverse the transfer somehow later on if I want a more expensive forward. And see how it goes after that. It's just basically that -4 would be just to protect the fact that Phil Foden is probably one of, if not the only player that could damage me this week. And if I can minimize that, because there's going to be managers that are going to be taking hits out there, then I can definitely, you know, I feel like that is a good thing to minimize, as well as City also look like one of the very few teams that could be playing, and City playing is a good thing because City do damage. Who to bench from these? Salah, Jota, Saka, Mount, Foden, or Lacazette? Mount, probably. Jota, maybe? I don't know. It might make the decision for you, to be honest. If I knew Jota was starting, I would start him. I would start all Liverpool players if they were starting. Firmino, I had earmarked Firmino to start in this game as well. I had earmarked him to start in this game. Just because it is a bigger team. Like, bigger team. Spurs, basically. So, yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. Let me see. Let's see. Is there any updates on Le Twitter? Watford women's team's playing. It's interesting. Yeah, over 1 million transfers in this week for Watkins. It's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. The other transfer that I could potentially make if I was going to do it would be Lukaku to Jesus, just so I can keep that premium striker player there. I would then have triple City. I would also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players playing, guaranteed. With the fixtures that we have now, at least. So yeah, that would be the other thing. Jesus didn't play last game, but could play this game, and is a bit of a differential. Is Foden lower owned than Jesus? Surely not. No, Foden's higher owned. Okay, but Foden would be a lot higher owned at my rank. as well in the top 10k for sure. He would definitely be very highly end. And at least Gelhardt would get me probably a playing player, probably, or at least someone that comes off the bench to get a point. So that would be for the -4, like I said. And then the other option is do nothing, basically. But I think the -4 for Foden probably with Gelhardt probably makes sense. But the thing that I have to think about is how do I get this premium spot back? So if Gelhardt comes in, Foden's here. 3.6 mil. Is it just a matter of play Foden for these few games and then ditch him? Or maybe we get a free wild card or something. Guess we just have to take it week on week, to be honest. But yeah, this is the team currently as it stands. Guess we'll just have to keep an eye on it, to be honest. Nothing really much else we could do. Bench Jota, Mount got a tough game, but with 100% start with all of those guys out. Yeah, Gelhardt would play. Yeah, pretty sure he'd play. Why would you take hits when everyone is destroyed? I would roll in. Again, yeah, I mean, I'll just have to think about it. The thing is though, Gelhardt's most likely going to play some type of minutes, and Foden is going to start. And Foden would be the only player that could probably burn me this week. And Man City versus Newcastle and Leeds versus Arsenal are most likely the only two games that potentially could be going through this week. Did you have Watkins last game week as well? I did. I did have Watkins last week. Yeah, so if I was going to make a transfer, like I said, it'd be Lukaku to Jesus if he's going to start. And then or Gelhardt for Lukaku and then a -4 to bring in Foden for Brownhill. That would be the other alternative. Let me actually check on my second monitor here the predicted lineups that Neil posted for Man City, because those are always interesting to see. Let's see, team news predicted lineups. What does he have for City? Because that would be very intriguing to know if he thinks that Jesus is going to start. I'll also take a look at Luke as well, who's been very good at predicting Man City lineups as well this season. He thinks that it's going to be Edison, João Cancelo, Ruben Dias, Stones, Zinchenko, De Bruyne, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Foden, and Sterling, he thinks. That's what he thinks. So, yeah. Let me check Luke. Let's see what Luke has. Luke's got... he thinks it's going to be Cancelo, Diaz, Laporte, Zinchenko, Rodri, KDB, Gundogan, Sterling, Grealish, and Foden. So yeah, Foden definitely in everyone's teams for sure. And like I said, Gelhardt could be coming in as well. You could just do Lukaku to Lacazette, save the money out on a very luxury problem for your team since you already have 10. Yeah, but this is where you can make up little advantages too. If I can bring in two players that I know are going to play, like Gelhardt and Foden, because those two fixtures are the most likely to go through, then why not do it? And Foden seems to be, seemingly, is the most likely to damage my rank if I were to not have him, basically. So yeah. Yeah, I'll have to think on it. I have like an hour and a half to do so, but yeah, I think we're gonna have to leave it there because again, we don't have much news. There's only one game today, Leeds versus Arsenal. So yeah, let's move over to the Fantasy Football Scout screen one more time. So Fantasy Football Scout is going to give you all the stats that you need to make informed FPL decisions, apart from cancellations, obviously. But yeah, make sure to check out Fantasy Football Scout. It's fantastic. We saw some of the tables today briefly. Again, bit of a downer this stream because of some of the games being canceled and stuff. And, you know, no football. It kind of sucks. But Christmas is around the corner, so make sure you stay safe and you're with your families and whatnot. But Fantasy Football Scout is going to help alleviate some of that stress on your FPL teams as well to make better informed decisions. It's going to help elevate your FPL game. So now let's move over to the big screen. So that is going to do it for the Game Week 18 deadline. It has been moved, so you still have about 2.5 hours to make your decisions for the games. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Don't stress yourself out too much. Cancellations are going to happen. They're annoying. We know that. Yeah, make the decisions that make sense for your teams as best as you can. And try to avoid using the your chip space as much as possible there. Until the next one, take care.